with a different kind of video than I usually make. This is the first rant I've made that isn't connected to the anti-pedo saga. What kind of rant is this? Well, throughout this year, I've mentioned before that I do not like Natalie Miller slash Aguri Madoka, aka Glitter slash Cure Ace from Glitter Force Doki Doki slash Doki Doki Pretty Cure. In fact, I absolutely hate her, so much that she's one of my most hated characters of all time. I've brought up my pure disdain for this brat in my Q&A video and both of my Gartic Phone streams, but I have never truly talked about why I hate her. But that all changes today, as I talk about what Glitter Abomination means to me. And what better day to do this than July 7th, the day when she made her proper debut and burned Doki Doki's reputation to the ground. I mean, I could do it on her birthday, but her true debut episode, in Doki Doki in general, is now the same age as she is, so this is too good of an opportunity to pass up. So, without further ado, let's get it on like it's Donkey Kong. But before we dive into what Ace herself does that makes her so insufferable, there are some things prior to existence that must be talked about in order to give some more context as to what makes her debut one of the worst in all Precure. In Doki Doki, the main theme is selfishness versus selflessness. The main antagonists, the mercenaries slash Jikachus, represent selfishness, while our main characters, all of which are queens by the way, represent selflessness. I bring this up as a way to transition into talking about a certain character. This is Regina, one of the show's main antagonists. She is a queen and you will treat her as such. Being the daughter of King Mercenary slash the Selfish King, Regina starts off as the embodiment of selfishness and vanity, and this shows us greatly when she meets the girls. After introducing herself as the spawn of her worst enemy, she grows a strange interest in the girls, in particular Maya, the team leader. There's just something intriguing about her that's so alluring to Regina. So she decides to come up with a plan. I'm gonna tear Maya's friendship with her teammates, so only I will be her friend. I want Maya all to myself. That has got to be one of the most devious schemes in the franchise's history. But of course, this plan backfires. Realizing her original plan didn't work, Regina wants to understand what friendship truly is. Now, this is the perfect setup for Regina to become a redeemed member. Now we cut to episode 22, where Regina has understood the true meaning of love and selflessness, and has truly become a friend to the girls, much to her father's anger. Desperate to get his daughter back, he sends his minions to separate the Doki Doki girls from Regina, which they do. Regina then finds herself alone with her father, and after she refuses to sever her ties and come back, the selfish king brainwashes his daughter, now devoid of any and all sense of compassion, and turning her back to the dark side, now stronger than ever. She takes out the entire team with ease, and it's time to finish the job for good. But before she can, someone comes in clutch. And now we get to episode 23. The episode that dragged Doki Doki's reputation through the ground, and the proper introduction of Glitter Ace. Already we're off to a bad start, for two reasons. First, the most common reason why everyone hates Natalie's guts in the first place is because she stole Regina's chance to become Ace, or Cure Joker as my good friend Q Yoshi Lover thought of. And while I personally find that to be the least of this brat's problems, I honestly can't blame him, especially since Cure Ace was actually teased episodes ago, and everyone understandably came to conclusion that Regina would become a Cure. I mean, they were literally setting the stones for that to happen, so why would anyone think otherwise? But of course, that didn't happen. After all, this video wouldn't exist if it didn't. The second reason this introduction already doesn't work is the sheer fact that she comes out of nowhere. Time for a little Precure history lesson. In Precure, there are cures to fandom universally called mid-seasons.
or more commonly, 6 Rangers. As you can probably guess, these are cures that don't automatically join the team in like the first 5 minutes or so. 6 Rangers can either join in 10 episodes in, or about near the halfway point, while mid-seasons are reserved for the halfway point. The 6th Ranger term was introduced as early as the 2nd season of the franchise, Max Heart, with Shiny Luminous, but the mid-season term wasn't introduced until fresh 4 seasons later with Pure Passion. How these cures join the team is mostly the same, but their backgrounds differ from season to season. You have cures like Milky Rose from Yes 5 Go-Go, the sequel season to Yes 5, and a cure I also dislike, and Cure Felice from Mahusukai, Kyoshi Lover's favorite season, who are fairies who decide to get in on the action. Then you have cures like Cure Moonlight from Heartcatch, and Fortune from Happiness Charge, who I also do not like, who have already become cures before the leader does, but are too introverted, or bitchy in Fortune's case, to join the team. And you have cures like Cure Lemur from Tropical Rouge, and most recently, Butterfly from Scoring Sky, who get tired of sitting on the sidelines and take matters into their own hands. But by far the most common type, and the first one introduced, of a 6th Ranger is the villain redeemed trope. Cures who start off as antagonists, whether they're working for the main enemy of the series in most cases, or opposing the main protagonist for their own reasons. The cures in this trope also vary when it comes to their reasons for being evil. Our first subtrope is Born to be Evil. This applies to villains who are created solely to serve the big bad with unwavering loyalty. As of now, the only cure to have this trope, from my knowledge, is Passion, who was previously mentioned, making her one of a kind. But the most common subtrope is for redeemed villains is Brainwashed Evil. This applies to villains who were actually good people and actually had happier lives, but were brainwashed by the big bad to do their bidding. And this is the trope Regina falls into. Some notable examples of this include Amore from Huggido, Scarlet from Go Princess, and most recently, Finale from Delicious Party. These mid-season / 6 Rangers all differ from each other in terms of personalities and backgrounds, but they all follow the second most paramount rule for this. They were all previously established characters who were joining their teams, meaning that for better or for worse, the audience could get to know these characters before they join the main heroines. Not only does Ace not follow any of the tropes below, but she also breaks the rules. She's not a fairy, she's not a villain, at least she isn't presented as one, and she sure as hell didn't know who the girls were before forcing herself into their lives. It's revealed later on that she technically follows the same trope Moonlight and Fortune follow, but again, she's forced down our throats without any proper build-up or prior known existence. She doesn't even follow that properly, which is pretty ironic considering that Ace is pretty much a rule enforcer, and yet she can't even follow one of the main rules of becoming a mid-season. And the worst part? This isn't even the first time they did this, because 7 years later, when Healing Good Pretty Cure was coming around, Toei thought it would be a good idea to try this exact same tactic again with Cure Earth from Healing Good, and surprise surprise, fans don't like her that much, which shows that Toei clearly didn't learn from last time in 2013. Granted, Earth is nowhere near as bad as Ace, but is that really saying much? But that's enough about our history lesson. I hope you guys have all learned something because this will be on our test. Anyways, back to Pain. So Ace decides to show up and absolutely destroys Regina, who is then whisked away by her evil father. Maya is now in shambles after the results of this, and Ace, clearly witnessing all this, insults her for it. But her pure apathy doesn't stop there. Oh no! Because Ace jumps to the conclusion that Maya's just some whiny crybaby and steals her glitter charm, saying she's too sensitive to be a Glitter Force gal. What the fuck is wrong with you? You clearly see she's sad, and you're just gonna punish her for it? you're not going to put any effort to support her positively, just leave her be. The last thing she needs is apathetic judgment. And this ends up being absolutely disastrous because the day King brings out two new henchmen to fight the girls, who absolutely curb stomp them, and Maya can't fight and help her friends because she has no means of being able to. Nice going, you little shit. You have successfully hindered the girls' chances of winning. Granted, Maya does find a way to help out the team and gets her glitter charm back, but it's just a case of too little too late. This whole episode just felt like a huge middle finger to both Heart fans and everyone who was hoping to get Regina with her promotion. It's especially bad for the latter group because Regina then spends 14 episodes in a coma. This is basically Toei's way of saying, no, appreciate this shitty character we forced onto you without wording. Even if you love Regina, you have to watch Ace. This episode was what truly sparked my everlasting hatred for this little shit. Who the hell thought this was a remotely good idea to write? First Rule of Glitter Force stands as one of the worst episodes of the franchise, and one of my most hated. But before we move on to Ace's future appearances, there are some other things we gotta talk about. First is how the show tries to paint Natalie's actions as benevolent. I'm not kidding. The Netflix description of this episode reads, saddened by Regina's betrayal, Maya loses her will to fight. Luckily, some tough love from new arrival Glitter Ace lifts her spirits. Tough love? Are you actually for real? That's not tough love. That's kicking someone while they're already down. Ace does jack shit to raise her spirits. Also, betrayal? You're acting like Regina didn't just get brainwashed last episode. My second gripe? You know that scene where Ace nabs glitter charm? Yeah, apparently from what I've read from fandom posts, that scene is tamer in the anime than it is in the official manga, because in there, instead of just taking Maya's charm, Ace double downs and takes everyone's. You apathetic little shit. You are now actively trying to stop them from doing their job just because they're not meeting your standards they have no obligation to meet. In my last season may be kind of a stretch, but there's a message that I picked up after seeing this atrocity, and it's not a good one. The message I got from this was, your responsibilities are more important than your emotional state because of how Ace cruelly looks down on Maya being sad. Give me a fucking break.
Overall, First Rule of Glitter Force is pretty much the one-course meal of Doki Doki. And no, I'm not saying that they are both equally as bad, not by a long shot. But what I mean is just how catastrophic the damage both these episodes did to respective shows. One-course meals quite literally one of the main reasons why modern-day SpongeBob is still gets hate even to this day. And when First Rule of Glitter Force dropped, viewers hated it a lot. They low-key quit the series, which in turn made TV ratings drop significantly. And it's basically part of why Doki Doki is the second most hated Freaker season. You want to know just how bad of a first impression this episode left off? According to TV tropes, a little girl cried because of Regina getting cucked. I do not have a video proving this, so you're gonna just have to take my word for it. But even so, even if your target audience doesn't like this, then that's more than enough reason to tell you that this was a terrible idea and should have never left the drawing board. Okay, quick editor's note. So, you know about that whole little girl crying because of Ace thing? Yes, someone on Twitter actually found the video of that. So, link to that will be in the pinned comment down below. But that's enough about the debuted episode. By now, I'm sure at least a few of you are probably saying, come on. Sure, she's had a terrible start, but surely she can't be that bad throughout the rest of the series, right? Well, that would be the case if you weren't watching this video right now. After her god-awful debut, Natalie spends the next 4 episodes looking down, ignoring, and insulting the girls for just about anything she can come up with. This includes insulting Mackenzie's idol career, saying that she can't be both that and a magical girl at the same time, which she's been able to do pretty easily at this point, mind you, as well as flat out calling Clara weak just because her barrier breaks trying to protect the others, which she was already pretty beat up about despite her teammates pretty much instantly forgiving her. Granted, Nat does apologize for the latter incident, but still, Natalie has only known these girls for one day and acts like she knows what's best for them. Give me a fucking break. In episode 27, Ace's Secret Weakness, the girls have had enough of Nat's BS and start questioning if Nat genuinely cares about them at all. We then find out that Ace is actually a fucking burden, because it turns out, and I am not joking about this, Natalie can only keep her transformation for 5 minutes. That has got to be one of the stupidest nerfs I have ever seen. This may not be that bad for a simple monster of a week fight, but this is a huge problem for more serious battles. Imagine you're in a tight spot in a super important battle, and at the worst possible time, one of your teammates can't fight anymore. Not because they're worn out, but because their strength only lasts for 5 minutes. That would be pretty fucking awful, wouldn't it? Toei, if you're gonna make Ace OP, at least commit to it. And the fact that she still has the gall to act all high and mighty towards the other girls is nothing short of ridiculous. Bragging about power levels has no scrutiny at all if it only lasts for a short period of time. So she actually decides to join the team for real, but then decides that she gets to be team leader because she believes she's in the best position to do so, and acts like a bossy little brat, dragging the team through hell just to prepare them to fight Regina again, serving as their mentor. Hey, Pocoyo, can I have your input on this?
Bossy, 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 beats.
Thank you for your words of wisdom, Pocoyo, because who in the right mind would a 10-year-old arrogant little shit who hasn't even hit puberty and has an addiction to sweets as their mentor? Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that she's only 10 years old, which is a huge reason why I hate her guts. Natalie is the kind of person who will nag at you for anything you do that doesn't meet her standards, no matter how big or small it might be. Natalie is as a mentor, leader, friend, or sibling? Hell to the fuck no. And what makes all of this all the more worse is that not only do the girls just casually go along with this and never call out her methods, but all that hellish training she put them through meant nothing. Because when the time came to fight Regina for the last time, Ace fights her. Alone. That's right, she dragged the girls down all season long and decided that only she can fight Regina, keeping everyone except Mackenzie in the dark. And the worst part of this? Nat's justification for this, because as it turns out, and I am not joking, seriously, Natalie and Regina are the light and dark sides of Princess Mary Angelica, meaning that not only are they sisters, but it also damns the princess of ever being able to be revived. And Nat uses this as a justification as to why she's always right about everything, and why she's destined to kill Regina. And huge emphasis on kill, by the way, because as it turns out, Nat sets to justice told her that all her enemies have to die. So much so that she's willing to kill her own teammates, like when Rachel tried to protect a brainwashed Ira, one of the main antagonists, in one of the episodes. Because forget trying to give people a chance to change, just kill everybody. Leader of the year, ladies and gentlemen. Ugh. Let's just get this over with. I swear, Regina was done real dirty by the writers, not only for losing her chances of being the true Glitter Ace, and being sidelined for 14 episodes while her stupid sister shoved down her throats. But after Regina is finally freed from her father's brainwashing, learns about the tragedy of how he became corrupted in the first place, and can join her friends again to save him, she instead chooses to stay with her father out of blind love.
Is this some kind of twisted joke?
I'm right there with you, Dimitri. But seriously, what is it with Toei always teasing Regina purification, only to have her defect back to evil at the last second? Wouldn't it have killed them? So please just stop taunting everyone like that. Regina first appears at the end of episode 11, and truly becomes good at episode 47. It takes Regina 36 episodes to truly become one of the good guys. That is nearly the exact same episode count as the first 2 seasons of fan-made fundings. Regina is literally the most praised aspect of Doki Doki, and even she gets shafted. Give me a fucking break. Now before we wrap up, by no means am I saying that you yourself should hate Ace, nor am I saying that you're wrong for liking her. Despite her being near universally hated, she does have her genuine fans that aren't Coomers who can get past her bratty and bossy nature, even if they are far and in between, whether it be through incredible tolerance or actually sympathizing with her sad loneliness enough that they can get past what she does. But not even oh yeah, Toei actually gave Nat's backstory a side of sadness, but not even that could keep her from the huge amount of hatred she's received throughout the years of her existence. And considering this video's existence, you can probably already guess how I feel about her in spite of learning about all of this. To me, characters who do bad things don't get a pass just because they have a sad backstory. But if you can actually tolerate Ace's existence and don't think she's an abomination, then kudos to you. I wish I could too. But even so, at the end of the day, whether you think she's a pure angel, or that she should be sent back to the fiery pits of hell from whence she came, the one thing you can never argue about is that she forever ruined Doki Doki's reputation, and that is something that cannot and will not ever be undone. It just won't.
And that's the end of today's video. Now you all know what Glitter Ace means to me. The black sheep of an otherwise beautiful series, and a prime example of how not to write a main character. And while it's unfortunate that she has to exist, at the very least I can happily say that there can never be a cure so garbage balls terrible they outclass Ace. Toei would have to manually try super hard to make one worse than her. Well, that's it for me. Until next time, this is Ron Lewis signing off.